Hello, I'm Jonathan Sim with ComingSoon.net, and it is so nice to be speaking with you on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to talk to you a little bit about just your career and a lot of the stuff that led up to this moment. So I believe that you started working with Marvel on She-Hulk Attorney at Law?
That is correct.
Yes, so I wanted to know, what was the phone call like when you first found out that you'd be not working with Marvel Studios and then that you'd be working on this film?
That's a really good question. You know, someone had called me, a friend of mine, and said Marvel was looking for producers for streaming series. And I had never done a TV show before. I had never done anything streaming, but I was the biggest fan of Marvel, right? So, of course, I was going to take that call and, you know, started sitting down with all of these people. And it's really interesting because I couldn't kind of meet anyone. I'm like, let me have a coffee with someone from Marvel, try and figure what, it was like Fort Knox trying to figure out what was there. But as soon as I started interviewing, every person that I met with, you know, besides being in total reverence of everything they had done and being like a little intimidated and freaked out, they were all just so cool and chill. And so it made me really want to work there. And then my first day that I got the job, I was thrilled, and I went into Kevin's office and he said, everyone works at one project at a time here, and you are going to work on She-Hulk, which I really didn't know much about at the time. And then I started reading the comics and was just blown away. I thought it was so cool, and you know, it was this kind of audacious woman who broke the fourth wall and yelled at her writers when she wasn't happy with the storyline, you know, and we primarily focused on the Dan Slott run as the basis for our show, and Jessica Gao had such an incredible take on the material, and it was something that was really easy for me to connect with because it was about a woman in her 30s living in LA, navigating, you know, her career and her dating life, and happened to be a superhero. So it was really an awesome whirlwind and first kind of step into the Marvel universe for me.
Yeah, no, I love that. And so you're the executive producer on Deadpool and Wolverine. And one of the things that's existed for a long time is a lot of people know a general idea of like the positions and what they're called on movies, but they don't really know what each person does. I have a vague idea of what an executive producer does, but I want to hear in your words, what does the executive producer on Deadpool and Wolverine do?
You know, it's different for every producer on every movie, and it really depends on the filmmakers you have, right? But when you've got an experienced director like Sean Levy at the helm, and you've got Ryan Reynolds, who is, you know, the DNA and the heart and soul of this franchise and truly the North Star of the tone, and you've got Hugh Jackman, my role is really just to support their vision and help turn their dreams into reality. I pride myself on taking anything off of their plate that I can, big or small, because I want those guys to focus on purely the magic that they're making on set every day. I don't want them worried about anything else, right? Because it's truly like watching Ryan and Hugh channel things from the divine when they're riffing with each other. So that's my primary job during filming. But also, the other one is there's so many decisions that have to be made on a film, particularly of this size, and you have to make sure everyone who's on set and the people who can't be there every day, like Kevin Feige and Louis D'Esposito, are all on the same page every day. So I'm constantly just kind of making sure everyone's in communication and happy, and that we're all one big family.
Right. No, I love that.
Yeah.
And so were there any like fun challenges that you found with Deadpool and Wolverine that you weren't used to and that you were surprised by?
I don't know if I would call it a fun challenge. The biggest kind of shock to the system of this whole movie was coming back in the winter time after the strikes. You know, we'd shot half the movie, which had been designed for a summer shoot. I mean, particularly the actors and their costumes. We were now coming back to 20-degree weather, sometimes less in London. And, you know, we had footage in the can that had to match. We couldn't just put everyone in jackets at that point. So that was a really big challenge that we rallied around to figure out. And we had an army of costumers standing by with parkas like this at the ready to wrap everyone up as soon as they said cut. And we had tents and heating tubes, and that was a big one. And we also lost 3-4 hours of daylight every day, so that was a big one to overcome. But it was great, and it was part of the experience, that's imprinted on our soul making this movie.
Yeah, definitely. And are there any upcoming MCU projects that you are particularly excited for and or would want to work on?
I'm excited for all of our upcoming projects, and I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, what's been announced? What am I going to get in trouble for saying I'm excited about? Yeah. I will work on anything that my bosses allow me to work on, and I've had 2 incredible opportunities so far, and I'm looking forward to what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. And one last question: may you describe what the vibe is on Deadpool and Wolverine, just on any given day on set? What is it like to be working on that set?
I have to tell you, my colleague and co-producer, Mitch Bell, said that this movie was like a unicorn, and I think that's the best way to describe it, because not only are you working on Deadpool and Wolverine, which is just exciting in and of itself, not only is the script in fantastic shape, like everyone feels like they're making a great movie when they come to work every day, but everyone really was just so excited to be there, and there was such a loving feeling and friendship among everyone on the set. And I actually remember one day being in the tent talking with some of my colleagues, having this very conversation about crazy how much everyone loves this movie and also loves each other. And then one of the